December 12th, 2021, my 82-year-old grandmother was discovered murdered in her home in Whitesburg, Kentucky. My grandfather had just passed away 13 days before my grandmother was murdered. He passed away, like I said, they weren't legally married, so none of his belongings were left to her. They owned a car together and he left the car to her, but otherwise nothing was left to her because they weren't married. But like with all deaths and passings, you know, somebody always ends up mad. They thought they deserved this or that, so on and so forth. And so there were disagreements and stuff going on, and I kind of feel like because of the disagreements, because of the people that were angered, even though it didn't directly have anything to do with my grandmother, it got taken out on her. There are people that haven't heard this story, and I'm going to tell the same story 1,000 times because KSP is handling my grandmother's murder. My dad went to her house. He had tried to call her, text her. He was knocking on the door. He had tried everything. Nobody would answer. My nanny was, she kept herself protected, if you know what I mean. So he was afraid to just like barge in, because if he caught her, you know, by surprise or something, like if she'd been in the shower or something and he caught her by surprise, there was a good chance she would have shot my dad, because she, you know, would have thought somebody was breaking in on her. So my dad was super careful about the whole thing. He had called and called and called, texted. He'd called all of his sisters, you know, have you seen mom? Nobody had heard from her. Nobody had seen her. He was actually getting ready to leave because he was under the impression that maybe she was taking a nap or she was in the shower or something like that. So he was getting ready to leave. Well, he just so happened to peer inside the garage. He kind of, you know, looked inside and he saw her car. So he said, okay, obviously she's home. He went up, he knocked again. Nothing. He called one of his sisters. He said, hey, I think something's wrong. Mom's car is here and she's not answering the door. She's not answering the phone. I can't get a hold of her. So my aunt showed up. Their back door was like one of the glass patio doors. So there was a cinder block outside. My dad picked up the cinder block and threw it through the door and reached in and unlocked it, and they went in. My dad was first. He was walking in front. And when he popped around the corner and seen, he was far enough back to where he shouldn't have contaminated the scene. No question that she was murdered, like 100%. So they immediately treated it like a crime scene. When something like that happens, they don't just have like this magic cleaning service that comes in and cleans it up for you. It's totally up to the family. You either clean it up yourself or you hire somebody to do it. So we hired a family friend to come in and clean it. And there were chunks of my grandmother's flesh, her hair, blood spatters, quite literally all over the house. Ceiling, walls, downstairs, everywhere, all over the house. Like, so that gives you an idea of the magnitude of how bad this was. Like, if you're capable of doing something that gruesome, that disgusting, that severe to a little 82-year-old lady, you're capable of doing it again. Was anything taken from the home during the invasion? The only thing that was taken was her cell phones. And I believe that was so she couldn't call for help. They had fled and I think like ran up into the hills, and I think they threw the phones out in the hills somewhere, and so they found them. If something of this magnitude happens right in your hometown, right in your doorstep, there is no reason that there should be people in the county, in the same town, or in the same state that have never heard about it.